At least the party has a clear choice here, very clear. One wing is saying don't ever use the word socialist again, and one is saying,
I am a democratic socialist.
Clear, huh? So how do we decide who's right? Well, it turns out we don't really have to flip a coin. We have the evidence.
This time, Bill Maher didn't tap the brakes. He came in swinging at Zohran Mamdani and Bernie Sanders, and the activist left like he'd finally run out of patience. No sugarcoating, no polite detours, just one blunt warning after another. His core message: if Democrats really think money is the future, Republicans may already be opening champagne. Because in Maher's view, every radical soundbite, every headline-grabbing proposal, every viral clip is turning into free opposition ammo. And before you even get to the policy fight, that alone should terrify Democrats. If you like sharp political breakdowns without the fluff,
Democrats must recognize that Zohran Mamdani is the future of the party. Unfortunately, it's the Republican Party. Get it? And if you missed his victory speech in last week's mayoral election in New York, don't worry. You'll see it in every attack ad for the next 2 years. Now, Mamdani seems like a nice guy, and I congratulate him on an extraordinary political achievement.
subscribe, because what set Maher goes way deeper than one TV segment. Maher's first point was brutal because it was simple. Mamdani may be becoming the perfect symbol of everything swing voters fear about the modern left. And the scariest part for Democrats, nobody has to dig for attack material. It's already out there. The footage exists. The speeches exist. The clips are already circulating. That means Republicans don't need to manufacture a caricature. They can just hit play. And that, according to Maher, is the nightmare. Elections are not won by impressing the loudest act.
Before the whole left side of the country catches socialism fever, let's listen to the other big winner in last Tuesday's election, Virginia Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger, who before the 24 election said things like, if the party didn't shift to the center, we will get torn apart. And we need to never use the word socialist or socialism ever again. Well, she was right, but they didn't listen. Typical, am I right, ladies? Well, at least the party has a clear choice here, very clear. One wing is saying don't ever use the word socialist again, and one is saying,
I am a democratic socialist.
Clear, huh? So how do we decide who's right? Well, it turns out we don't really have to flip a coin. We have the evidence. In 2024, 13 Democrats won in districts Trump also won. All moderates. This isn't rocket science.
Activists online. They're won by persuading the middle. And Maher's argument is that Democrats keep drifting farther away from the exact voters who decide whether they live or die politically. Then Maher turns to the faction that has been sounding the alarm for years, the moderates. The Democrats who keep saying there is a real electoral cost to sounding too ideological, too online, too detached from normal people. People like Abigail Spanberger have made that case over and over. Ignore the center, and the center will eventually ignore you back. Maher's point is that these warnings are no longer theoretical. Moderate Democrats survive in tough districts because they create distance from the party's most polarizing voices. But once they get back into the party machine, they're forced to look over their shoulder.
I would love to have AOC on the show, and Mamdani and Elizabeth Warren, but I can't subpoena the guests. And I can't fix that what the Democrats are scared of more than anything else, I mean, obviously besides gluten, is being primaried from the far left, even though most Democrats are not far left. They're mild-mannered and moderate, at least at my bathhouse. If there is one practical thing that Democrats can do right now that would help them regain power, it's never speak to Trump in person. No, I'm kidding. That's stupid. No, it's this. Inspire your moderates to vote in the primaries. Get that base excited. You have the numbers.
At activists ready to punish them for not sounding pure enough. Maher thinks that cycle is poison, and he believes regular Democratic voters, not just party insiders, have to decide whether they want activists running the conversation forever. And then comes the part Ma clearly sees as political malpractice, the imagery. At a Bernie AOC rally, the American flag became part of a controversy that Ma argues should have triggered instant pushback. Because politics is not just about policy papers. It's about symbolism. It's about what voters see in one frame and remember for years. Maher's frustration was obvious. Somebody on that stage could have stepped in.
AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, this is not a symbol of freedom. This is. If the thought leaders in the Democratic Party keep encouraging and not rebuking the idea that America is and the people who run Gaza are great, the Democrats are doomed.
Somebody could have shut it down. Somebody could have said, nope, not this. But no one did. And when that kind of image escapes into the internet bloodstream, it doesn't disappear. It lingers. It hardens. It becomes the kind of visual Republicans would kill to have in an attack ad. And according to Ma, Democrats handed it to them for free. DeMar didn't stop with individual politicians. He widened the target and aimed at what he sees as a deeper problem inside the Democratic coalition. The party's growing dependence on younger voters without asking hard enough questions about where some of those political instincts are heading. His concern is that parts of the younger activist base are becoming increasingly comfortable with positions and sympathies that mainstream Americans find alienating or extreme.
Mrs. Slotkin's right. Liberals are weak and woke, especially the white ones, and they indulge all sorts of from their kids, a pattern that then continues on in the Democratic Party. Last election, it was all the gender stuff, the insistence that men can have babies and such. Liberals need to push back on the dumb ideas that come from their children. The Democrats' problem is the energy of the parties with the young and the young are with the That's not good. So talk to your children and remind them you don't really want to live like your heroes in Hamas.
Whether people agree with Ma or not, his warning is clear. Youth energy is not automatically political safety. A coalition can get louder, more passionate, more online, and still become less electable. Maher's point is that Democrats may be assuming today's young enthusiasm translates into long-term political stability, when in reality, it could be building a backlash that reaches far beyond campuses and social media feeds. Then Maher zooms in on one word that for him says everything about the disconnect, latings. Because tomorrow, the issue is not just the term itself. It's what the fight over the term reveals. If voters tell you clearly and repeatedly, we do not use this word for ourselves.
Much Latinos despise the woke term Latinx. It's about as popular with them as a reboot of Speedy Gonzales. Even the country's oldest Latino civil rights group came out against it, yet AOC keeps defending it, saying gender is fluid, language is fluid. Yes, and Latino voters are fluid. And more of them now than ever are identifying as Republican. So are Asian Americans, whose support for Democrats is down 16 points since the last election. A lot of that is because, in the name of achieving equity in schools, Democrats in deep blue cities have made it a mission to eliminate the advanced programs at which Asian kids excel. Asian parents said, okay, I wish all kids well, not a racist, but I need someone who acts like my lawyer.